Dana White in studio here for the entirety of the hour, and now we will close out the show with him. He's getting on his private jet here. You laugh. Come on, put us in the private. Come on, put us in the private jet. What's the first of all? What's the greatest UFC president perk you've got?
Yeah, the jet would have to be one. But you know what? The reality is we couldn't do what we do if we didn't fly private. You just couldn't. I've been in Las Vegas, L.A., New York City, and now here in Miami in the last 2 days, and then I'll be in Rio tonight. You know, so you couldn't do that stuff flying commercial.
Give us a good private jet story. You have to have just a good private jet.
You've got to have lady pyramids in the private jet.
Come on, Dana. Come on.
A good private jet story. I don't know if there's any real, there's been some scary private jet stories. I mean, we had to land in Toronto one time. The fog was so thick, they said, yeah, we're going to have to divert to Buffalo. And I'm like, there's no way I'm driving from Buffalo to Toronto. Let's try. Just ask if we can land. They said, yeah, go for it.
Just go for it?
They said, yeah, no other planes were landing. We start going down.
Just go for it? What's the matter with you?
The fog is so thick. Halfway down, and my guys were with me, man. They're like, this was a bad idea, man. I was like, this was definitely a bad idea.
That's horrific. What are you doing?
We did it, though. We made it.
What are you doing?
That was a scary one.
What are you doing telling the pilot how to fly his plane?
We were flying over Kansas one time, right? And, they get crazy storms in Kansas. I had 2 PR people with me, and this plane was getting tossed everywhere. These 2 are crying. They're literally crying.
They're weeping.
Yeah, no, crying, like bawling, crying. And I'm laughing, taking pictures of them for Twitter.
What is the matter with you? What is the matter with you? Everyone in your sport has to be a little bit off.
I think once you make that decision to get into a plane, everything's out of your hands, man. You're either landing or you're crashing. It is what it is.
Dana White with us on 790. You've got a great life, right? I mean, right now you've got a great life, even though you're a workaholic guy and you're going to all these cities and you're not getting to enjoy any of them while staying at the City.
It doesn't suck, yeah. It doesn't suck. Don't feel too sorry for me.
You've come out, you've told us like you were headed to a Laker game, a Lakers-Celtics game at the last minute. You just decided, like, give me a good one moment where Dana White pinched himself and said, you know what? This is pretty cool that I've arrived in this place as a former trainer. That I've arrived in this place where I'm living the height of my dream.
Yeah, there's lots of stories like that. I mean, for instance, like you said, the Celtic-Laker game. I go to the game 7 and I'm sitting on the bench. Stuff like that. I went to the first game that the Celtics played against the Heat, and I was sitting on the bench with the Lakers, joking, having fun, while they're playing the game. It's actually pretty fun going to a live basketball when you get to sit where I sit. And there's a lot of other stories like that. Things, you go to concerts and you get to do there's a lot of cool perks.
So who's the coolest guy that you've had at one of your fights where you've been like, yeah, this pleases me. This pleases me above all others. Above all others.
Well, there's been a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of the guys that come to the fights, I get along with. The last one, this kid gets ragged on a lot.
You're going to go Bieber on us,
Bieber, yeah. Bieber comes to the event, and he gets ragged on a lot by people. You couldn't meet a nicer kid. He's a great kid. He's a talented kid. He's a cool kid to hang out with, and I defend this kid to the death. Every time somebody says something about him, I defend him. And one of the stories is, did you hear the Twitter story with him? We're sitting there watching the fight, and I have 1.6 million followers on Twitter, right? Justin Bieber has 12 million. So he says to me, hey, I'm going to tweet you. Send me a tweet back and retweet me. So I do it. My BlackBerry, I had a BlackBerry, it crashes. And I couldn't get back on my BlackBerry all night.
Right.
I had 12 million 13-year-old girls blowing my BlackBerry up all night. I got 50,000 new followers in like
Justin
4
Bieber.
minutes. Yeah, it was crazy.
How many times have you seen Bieber's movie?
I saw it twice.
I've seen it 5 times.
It's a great movie, isn't it?
It's unbelievable.
Did you really see it?
I've seen it 5 times now. I saw it the first time with my daughters because I have twin 7-year-olds. I've seen it 4 times since without my daughters.
Isn't it a great movie?
Yes.
It's a great movie. It's a great story. And he's a talented guy. I can't believe you just said that.
I can't believe you just said that.
I'm telling you, I come in, I defend this kid all the time. And if you haven't seen the Justin Bieber movie, you should see it. It's a great documentary.
I've heard. He won't shut up about it. You like Seagal? Having Seagal around your sport? You like Steven Seagal?
Seagal is an interesting character. He's always been good to me. So I've got nothing.
He invented the kick.
Nothing against him. He invented the kick, apparently. Yes.
You laughed at that as well.
You like having him around? I don't understand, because I thought Steven Seagal was something of a punchline, and then I see he's training all of your greatest fighters, and he's in their corner and he's inventing kicks.
You know what you got to admit though? Obviously somewhere along the line, there's been guys like Chuck Norris, who's can keep doing movie after movie, and people respect his movies. You can't deny that when he first came out with Above the Law and the movies that came out after that, Steven Seagal was huge, man. And it was fun watching his movies. It was something that you'd never seen before. And then somewhere along the line, people stopped liking Steven Seagal. But he's always been cool with me, and apparently the guys from Team Blackhouse like him.
Who are you feuding with these days? Who are you feuding with?
Bob Arum.
That's
Bob
it?
Arum, that big mouth, greedy pig.
He's like 80.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who helped destroy the sport of boxing, and I'm tired of listening to this greedy fat pig.
He doesn't like your sport too much.
No, he doesn't, and I'm sick of hearing him too.
Anybody else you're feuding with?
That's about it right now. I think he's the only guy that I really can't stomach right now.
Didn't you tell recently ESPN to go bleep itself?
I did, yeah, but that was they did some stuff, but we've made up since then. So
what does that mean? They did some stuff. Why are you so ambiguous? You don't strike me as the type who conceals stuff. Like, what stuff did they do? What happened?
I'll tell you exactly what they did when we announced the Fox deal. I was supposed to go to ESPN on Monday and do what's called the car wash. And basically you go into ESPN at Bristol and you go through all the shows, right? When we announced the Fox deal, they canceled me and said, "Oh, yeah, we're booked. You're booked. You had me booked on Monday." You know what I mean? It's just petty little stuff like that. They've never given us the respect that I feel the athletes deserve. Listen, you don't have to love this sport, but don't deny that these guys are the greatest conditioned athletes in the world, and these guys, what they are capable of doing is right up on par. All these other guys in the NFL and Major League Baseball are cross-training in mixed martial arts now in the off-season.
And Jay Glazer.
Yeah, with Randy Couture.
All of them are being trained by Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer's in my Subway commercials.
So, I'm gonna fight with ESPN when they do stuff like this, and when they treat our guys like that. It drives me nuts.
I thought for a while that you were going to partner with ESPN. Was there a back and forth, or was it always with Fox? I thought for sure that you would end up at ESPN at one point. I'm sure you wanted to be.
Well, we talked to everybody. I mean, we were out there, literally talked to every network and negotiated with everybody. But no, ESPN was never really in the. No, they weren't.
Because you got Skipper to go, you got their big executive to go to one of your fights.
I talked to Skipper, and Skipper, I've had a great relationship with Skipper, yet still can't get anything done over at ESPN.
Well, now that's over, right? Now you can't do anything with ESPN,
no, we can.
Right? I mean, you can't with the Fox deal.
ESPN covers everything. Yeah, we're not going to have any live fights on ESPN, but ESPN is a news network. They cover everything, I mean, these guys cover the hot dog eating championships.
Yes, they do.
Okay? Ping pong and darts are on ESPN.
Poker.
Keep going.
I could keep going. The cheerleading competition, and the list goes on and on of all these fine, fabulous sporting events with these incredible athletes.
You left off the spelling bee.
Yeah, the spelling bee. Yet the UFC does not get covered by ESPN.
Don't go to Brazil angry. It's a lovely country.
Yeah, you guys made me mad. I was having a good time in here, and you guys got to bring up all the people I'm fighting.
Go to per square foot, most beautiful women in the world. Is that where you're headed right now? Or are you there now? Are you here now, Miami? You've been all over the world. Per square foot, most beautiful women in the world are...
It's tough to beat Vegas. You get women from all over the world in Vegas, it's really tough to beat Vegas. And it's not that all those women live there, it's all the people visiting there from other places in Vegas. Vegas is pretty strong. Tough to beat.
You're headed someplace pretty strong. UFC Rio, are you going to enjoy it, or is it all work?
It's all work for me. I'm going to be working the whole time from the minute we get there till the minute we leave. I get there tomorrow morning, our press conference. I got media and all the other stuff. We have the fight on Saturday, and I jump on the plane and fly right home on Saturday. Vegas for a day, then back to New York.
Don't tell the pilot where to land.
I won't.
Dana White with us in studio. Thank you so much for joining us. Big fan of yours. Big fan of your sport. Not as big a fan as our next host, Alex Dano. He treated this hour as porn over in the other studio. Alex Dano is next. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.